I'm Colleen Kruger. I'm the Managing Director of Music Calgary. This is our Sound Off Music Talks Inspiration Series, episode 8, which is amazing. Sound Off Music Talks is presented by Music Calgary. We'd like to acknowledge that the project is funded in part of Factor and the Government of Canada and Canada's private radio broadcasters. And also like to take a moment to recognize that Music Calgary is located at Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. And yeah, today we're talking with Eman Safadi, who is an artist manager and the founder of THOT Police.
Yeah. Yes, we just changed the name.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Yes, we changed it to THOT Nation. So,
THOT Nation.
but that is very recent. So if you're going by THOT Police, you're still in the tip. So that's good.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was going off my memory.
Oh yeah, that's all good.
That's awesome. So yeah, very excited to hear your story because you're very new to getting into music.
Yes.
At this point, so it's going to be an adventure and a really brief but exciting one.
Yes.
So I'm just going to leave it to you to sort of introduce yourself and give us your story of how you got started,
Sure.
What you do in music.
Sure. As Khalid said, my name is Eman Safadi, and I'm a music manager as well as the co-founder of THOT Nation, which is an artist collective and now a production company. So I do manage 5 artists across the country. All the artists that I do manage are BIPOC. The majority of my artists are here in Calgary. So there's 3 in Calgary and 2 in Toronto. The main artist that I do represent is Cartel Madras, but I also represent Jae Sterling, Young Kamaji, Jide, and SuKha. So it's growing by, I would say, every quarter. We seem to bring a new artist on board. And so I, as you mentioned, I'm very new to the music industry. I've been in it for 2 years now. And even though it's a very short duration, it's been very lively and exciting and very full of events and stories that I can share. But it has been a journey, and I'm happy that this did come into my path. And yeah, we're really working hard to change how music is represented, not only in Canada, but across the world. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this is our inspiration series, so definitely inspiring that you've worked in music for 2 years and are doing
Thank you.
So we've been starting with the question, what was your aha moment
to
start working in music?
My aha moment is when I met Contra, who is one part of Cartel Madras. So we were friends before they started Cartel Madras. And it was the first time, because I've always loved music, and I've consumed music, which we can talk about, very differently than most people, just being a Muslim woman here in Calgary. It was the first time that I saw people who look like me doing hip hop, which I love. And so when she told me that her and her sister are going into, starting a career as hip hop artists, as trap artists, it was the first thing that I wanted to jump on, because I was like, if you want to do this and you are taking a big step in your own career in order to start this journey, I'm going to do it as well. So we made a decision that I would become their manager, and and when we started, we knew nothing about the industry, nothing at all. But the cool thing is that because I had a very long and fruitful career as a sales and marketing person, we applied that acumen to the music industry and to their careers. So we are really fortunate with, the outcomes of things that we've done, but just taking a different approach that other music managers have done has proven to be very, good.
Yeah, amazing. So it's awesome that you've taken past work and all the knowledge that you have around that, and you can translate it to music.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. So it's not like you are only able to market this one thing. You could actually apply it to a music business or a music career or
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that surprised us all, is that the tenets of the music business is very similar to the tenets of really any industry that you're trying to sell or to market towards. And so, prior to Cartel Madras, I had a 13-year career within sales and marketing. So, it just like applying that skill set to a group, but also in an industry where there's no guidebook, there is no rhyme or reason. It's just like as you go and you learn as you go, which is has been very humbling, I will say, in terms of like how to acquire knowledge to do the right thing, and the community that you surround yourself. So it's yes, I did apply skills, but I have done a ton of learning and a ton of growing in a very short period of time. So yeah,
that's the fun part about the industry. I think there's no one way to do it.
Yes,
it's a very diverse and dynamic kind of job, and you sort of learn on the fly. So if you love learning or like taking chances and trying things without maybe knowing the outcome, fun.
Definitely you have to take the approach of that, you could be 99% sure, but you could also be 100% wrong. And I think if you take that approach and just not put a lot of pressure yourself and open yourself up to like great people within this industry who can help guide you, you don't have to do this solo, which is, I think, the really cool thing about the music industry is that at any turn you can ask somebody for help or advice, and somebody's always willing to help you. So I think that's what definitely separates the industry, is the know process, that like outward process, but then also the community behind it.
Heck yeah. And you plug yourself into like, well, I think as a team, you, Cartel Madras, and just sort of diving in and just taking those risks, like you've plugged yourself into teams that are very supportive and like there for you, and that's awesome. Like Sub Pop. So
yes,
signing to Sub Pop through, and like Shabazz Palace, like being like a huge fan and probably taking them under his wing in some form, or
yes. Well, yes. So he is the one who discovered Cartel Madras at Sled Island in 2018. But the crazy thing is that all of us had some kind of Shabazz, like Ishmael Butler, like experience in our lives, whether it's like his time at Digable Planets or seeing him perform at Shabazz Palace. I mean, for myself, like, I know a lot of people love the song Cool Like That, Granted Grammy, but for me, the song that I've always loved of Digable Planets was Ninth Wonder. And like, I loved that song in junior high and high school. And the fact that I met the man who not only wrote it, but performed it was like too surreal to me. And the fact that he's the one that discovered Cartel and has been just such an ally in our corner, just helping us really work with the relationship with Sub Pop, and everybody on Sub Pop's team has just been really, really great. So it's so crazy when you really think about it. It's so
what a whirlwind. So the aha moment for you, because you never planned a career in music. It was never like this idea that you had early on. You never went to a show when you're 14, you're like, this is what I need to do.
No.
You were like into another career and then totally shifted and pivoted into music.
Yes.
Because your friends and like were artists and you wanted to support them. That's
absolutely. And even more so, like, it's not that my aha moment, like, I think because yes, I never decided to go in a career for music. That has never, it was not even something that, if you asked me 5 years ago, would I be managing rappers and in the music industry as a talent manager, I would have laughed. I would have been like, no. It's just like, it just because it wasn't on my trajectory at all, not on like that path. But the one thing I'll say is that, I, grew up in Canada, and, I consumed music at such a rapid rate that, like in my teens, like I watched much music all the time. And like, I'm a lot older than most people listening, but, like in much music in the 90s with like Bill Elichka and like Steve Anthony. And so I really did fall in love with the music industry, and, following like a lot of Canadian like indie artists in the 90s and early 2000s. And, but naturally, you take this career path, that the things that you're supposed to do. And it just seems something that I let go of really early on. So just kind of it coming back full circle and, you know, seeing what I really loved in my teens, like with the, as a consumer of music and just really loving that pop culture of music in Canada. You know, it's been really cool that I can live something that I loved so much as a child as a teen, which I didn't even think was a possibility.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'd say that's very inspiring. 2 years in,
totally.
managing 5 artists,
Yes.
signing to major labels.
Yes.
You're marketing to like other international markets as well with Cartel, like a lot of to India or other markets.
Yes, because I think that you know, they're both born in India, but they also are diaspora artists, and so just having, you know, always making sure that there is a connection to, you know, their culture and their roots, but also really trying to, you know, make sure that we're properly marketing here in Canada and United States has been really important, because what I've noticed is that having a group that is of culture or manage a group of culture, people really like to want to put them into a box and really want them to perform or to be a stereotype of what they, you know, think that they should be. For example, like when Cartel started, you know, we got a lot of requests and inquiries for them to perform in a sari, which you would think is like, well, and if you've ever seen a Cartel Madras show, you know, that is definitely not possible just from like a logistic standpoint with like how high energy it is. But the fact that people think that it was okay for them because they are Indian, you know, to wear something that is very traditional, you know, while they're performed to help satisfy some need to see this, because it was just really, really interesting. And I think it actually goes the same way in India, is that there's a lot of perceptions of what they should be as artists who reside in North America, have been here for most of their childhood and their lives. To perform on the India stage has been also a challenge too. So it's really just making sure that we have our marketing and our brand solid, so that no matter who or what they perform to, it's universal.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's being like really thoughtful too, so that like it is translatable amongst different markets. So you're not like trying to like appease somebody by changing yourself to fit into something else.
And also not forgetting, like, you know who they are and where they come from as artists, what's their inspirations. And so, and even, you know, so I think it's both important, but just making sure that everything is, you have your key messages, you are solid in who you are as an artist is what's the most important, I'll say.
Yeah, most definitely. I would say the same. So what are your other artists up to?
So so Jae is still in music, but right now he has verged into a career into the art world. And so, you know, it's now really taking his, you know, music and incorporating it into his art. So so we're officially in the art world too. So
yeah,
what a thought. And so
I've seen some of his visual work. It's like quite unique and like I like it a lot.
Oh, and so expressive, and it's so interesting to see Jae, you know, as a painter. He's always been a painter, but as his manager, you know, this is a new venture that we have worked together on recently. And just the way that he produces music is the exact same way that he paints, in terms of being so, you know, thoughtful, and the meaning behind it, and everything has it comes straight from his heart, which has just been really, really cool to see that no matter what medium that he touches, he is that artist. He's the same artist through and through, which has been you
don't have to cultivate a whole new person,
not at all,
to promote his visual to his music.
Not at all.
It's amazing if an artist has both, because then you're just like, wow, you're the whole package, you know?
Right. You know, and
does he dance? You know?
No, he writes. That's the other
thing. He creates visual. He needs to dance.
right. So the triple threat, Jae Sterling.
So amazing. So even as a manager, like, so you've entered this new artist manager career as thinking of music, but now it's like a whole other arm, which is visual art.
Yes. And there is luckily there's a lot of parallels between the visual arts and music, which is good. So it's not like starting all over again, but it is definitely that learning curve again. I guess I just like to, I guess we can call a lifelong learner, maybe a glutton for punishment, who knows, but so yeah, no, but it's definitely been it's really cool. So Jay's now he's doing a mural here in Calgary right now, so that's it's really neat. I also manage young Kamaji, who is a DJ, a visual artist, and as well as a radio host, and he's also very, I mean, the tenacity on him as an artist and as an individual has been great. Also, I manage a producer named Jide, who is now based in Toronto, and he recently did he mixed and mastered and produced a track for Working, which is the Cartel Madras new track that just came out. Extremely, extremely talented. I cannot say enough great things about Jide in terms of him really, as a producer, just really understanding sound. And, you know, we've been really lucky to work with like some great producers over the last 2 years, but it was the first time that I've actually met a producer who just doesn't understand, you know, like he understands all music, like from like jazz, hip hop, you know, R&B, soul, rock, and can really incorporate that into his music. So I just feel so fortunate to be managing him as well. Oh, that's my work line. I also have a full-time job.
Oh my God.
Other thing, right?
You know, you're a wild woman.
Yeah, exactly.
We met 2 years ago, I think, and I'm just like, I've been watching the evolution of your career.
Well,
and I'm just like, how does she do it all? I have no idea.
You don't sleep. That is the key.
Yeah,
to it
no
all.
sleep,
No
just
sleep.
a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Cheers. I actually have 2 coffee cups here, so
yeah, girl.
no, yeah, you need to
Amazing.
be caffeinated.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
And then I also represent a girl named SuKha, who is a trap artist out of Toronto. She is phenomenal and just somebody who has, you know, she does, you know, music and fashion, and I just have such a, I just identify with her so much because she's, you know, I'm Muslim and she is Muslim as well. And just seeing her really, you know, she's just so cool in the way that she has like not only incorporated her identity into her music and her look and sound. It's just been, you know, something that is awe-inspiring. Like I always say, I wish she was around when I was a teenager. Like I would just look up to her. Like, and even me in my 30s, like I really do look up to her, and just in terms of, you know, who she is as an artist and a person. So so those are my artists that I love them all. They're great.
Nice.
So, yeah,
that's
wonderful
ideal
people.
as a manager, because they are people in your life every day, and you gotta love them.
Yeah. No, oh, and in every facet. And I remember, and I will say this to everybody watching, is that a person that really did help me when I first started was you, Colleen. Like I remember we went out, and I think we went to Old Beautiful or something, and I asked a ton of questions, and then, you know, we met up for coffee later that week, and really it was the first time that, you know, there's somebody that really kind of sat me down, was like, okay, here are the basics, and this is what you need to do. You can ask me any questions. And oh my God, so sorry, just work.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Juggle those calls.
Right.
On the other line, be like, hello.
Hello. 1 second, I need to take
your business call with you.
Exactly. No.
But I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I thought it was, just like really amazing to have another female sort of diving into that side of things as head first, like you were. I was like, yeah, amazing. I was like,
well, and I wouldn't have been able to really been as brave if I didn't see you and had that talk and see everything that you were doing in music. And you know, no, really, like, because like for me, like obviously you have this stereotype of what a music manager is. It's always like that slimy, like Colonel Tom Parker, you know, like what you hear on, like, you know, just like from like, you know, society or like you know, cultural references. But I think it was just like hearing you talk and seeing how you managed and just like tools that you used, and just, you know, it really did make me feel confident that I could at least try this and to get into without being as fearful. So that is just something that and
that's
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's neat.
No, but it's true.
Really
it's absolutely, it's very true. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have other people in to like any community that you can lean on.
Absolutely.
I'm always happy to lend. It's like, don't just don't hoard your knowledge, you know, share as much as you can, because if it makes someone's life a little bit easier and they can just get ahead a little bit quicker, amazing.
Absolutely. And they've definitely paid it forward. So
nice.
I mean, yeah, so it you know, anybody who needs help or advice or talk, like I'm happy to talk to them, because it is important in this industry to really support each other.
Yeah, and it evolves so quickly. So tools that maybe we used like 2 years ago are no longer the up-to-date tools, so it changes. And so you constantly do need to sort of be up with it, and asking your colleagues or other people around you as much as possible is key.
Exactly.
To just stay ahead a little bit, you know?
Exactly. Absolutely.
I do realize you've only worked in music for a short, brief time, but I do know that you probably have some nice advice that you could pass on to someone who might be in your same similar position, where say they've had a career for a long time, say they've worked in oil and gas for 20 years and now they want to become an artist manager. What would you say to them? What would be your piece of advice?
My big piece of advice would be really know your artist, and like really, like if you want to get into this career, but first and foremost, like, you know, establish a strong relationship with them, know their boundaries, they know your boundaries, and know them in a way that allows, you know, to have open and honest conversations, because there is a lot of tough conversations that you need to have, you know, throughout the career. That's things that are very uncomfortable, you know, and there's times where you celebrate together. So I think just having that relationship right off the bat, like it's less about a business transaction and more about a friendship, is very, very important. The other thing is really just like not lean, but reach out to anybody, even if you know them or not know them. Like reach out to people if you have any questions about the industry. There's so much to know and to learn, and you know, for, you know, just to try to take on that on yourself is very overwhelming and taxing. So you know, rely on people who have been in this industry for, you know, many years, or even people who are like me, who are new to the industry, because it really will help you not only speed up your knowledge, but then you will learn something that you would never expect. You know, their tips, you know, the advice that people give who've been in the industry for a while are worth its weight in gold. And so that's just one thing that I really do recommend highly. And make sure you sign up for SoCan. Learn SoCan, call someone.
Do your paperwork.
Do your paperwork.
Do you know that artist management it's a people business and it's an administration business?
There's no glamour to
an
artist manager.
Glamour. It used to be travel and shows, but
right
those are on hold at the moment. But
exactly. And like, and you know, I have not been the manager who's like traveled a lot with my artists, like, you know, by choice. It's just, I always like to be, you know, there's a home base where, you know, if they need anything, I'm here for them to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So I haven't had that benefit yet. So in some, you know, we went to Seattle and Toronto and all that stuff, but really like I'm just so, those are my two pieces of advice. So
those are both really great pieces of advice. I'd say like, you have to be humble to be in this industry, to like, admit when you're wrong or don't know something, so you're able to reach out to somebody else and just ask a question when you might not get the answer you're looking at. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Looking to get.
Just pretend you never know.
That too. Like, be humble to like hear other people's advice. You know, you might already know the answer, but you'd be like, I could hear it again.
Absolutely.
It's sweet.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's been fun. It really has been fun. So, cool. and I do hope that, you know, this is something that I, you know, can continue. And, you know, my only regret, I would say, in this music industry is that I can't take on more artists. I think that would be, you know, you just see so many talented people out there who, if they had the right people in their team, you know, they would really flourish. Like, it's just so hard to be, it's hard to be an artist. this experience has really taught me that, you know, the artist life is not an easy life. And it's like between not trying to not only understand the industry and move your craft forward, but you also have to create. And the creation part should be enough as a full-time career. So, and everything else is secondary. So it's yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, man, it's not the easy path to take, but having someone in your corner that like supports you in it is like really incredibly beneficial. So being that person and being genuine in the relationship that you have, like maybe just not getting a corporate manager is not the person, but someone in your corner who you already know, who can learn, obviously, who's willing to learn, can be the artist manager and support the artist.
Absolutely.
It makes some of the day-to-day easier.
Absolutely. Yeah. It really does. So yeah.
You're doing a great job. Oh, I would say. I just wish I had like 2 years in, doing so much and just like paving a way for yourself, and really awesome.
And but I'm really lucky that I am managing the artists that I'm managing. Like it is, you know, there is times where, you know, my schedule or like my time is just so limited, and you know, we're lucky that if I do need to rely on them for some things that are administrative at times, like they're really willing to help, but it goes the other way as well. So I'm just really fortunate that I'm managing the artists that I manage. And I think that's the other thing, is that if you do want to get into this, it's like, just be honest with yourself. Like if it's the right fit in terms of like just the artist, if the artist is right fit, it doesn't mean that they're less talented or more talented, or it reflects on you as a manager. It's just, you know, it has to be very copacetic. And that I think that's also, you want this to be a smooth process as much as possible.
Totally. Working relationship makes all the difference. Like everyone needs to be on the same page.
Yes.
And when you're not on the same page, you have to have hard conversations and like figure out how to get back on track. So yeah, it's a very real relationship, and it does, like everyone needs to be playing up for the same team.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it makes the career move forward. So it's either like you want artists that are on the same page with you and you're on the same page as them, but yeah, being able to open the conversation and get it back aligned is important as well.
Very much so.
Amazing. Well, and what's your website that people can go see everything you're doing?
So right now, our new website is THOTNationmedia.com. So THOT Media, MEDIA. No, Thought. I forgot the nation. So
Thought Nation.
I'm so used to Thought Police. So we did have to change Thought Police as a police.
It's a little political, yeah.
And you would think Thought would be the political piece, but no. Police,
no, the police.
Police is the police. So, you know, and full disclosure, did not know what a thought was when we decided on the name. Now I do. So, but Thought Nation Media. So it's THOTNATION Media MEDIA @.com. So check us out. You can see all the projects that we're working on. Also check out Cartel Madras, Jae Sterling, Kamaji, Jide, and SuKha. They're very different artists, but also like just wonderful, wonderful, very talented people. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
This little chit chat. It's nice to catch up.
Yes, nice, and we'll catch up in an informal way as well.
Yeah, hope soon. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Liam, I need your help. It won't end.
I was going to post on the chat. But
oh no. It won't end.
Sorry?
It won't end.
Oh.
She's so lovely. That
Yeah.
website is